Genetically altered mutants are everywhere. No place, not even your own home, is safe. Senator Kelly knows this better than anyone. He stands ready to fight for human preservation.
Well, I don't condone violence, but I do condone people feeling safe in their own homes.
Support Senator Kelly. Our future depends on it.
Well, I open these hearings today proud to be a senator from the freest nation on earth. A nation dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. But what our forefathers could not foresee was a nation where we are no longer created equal. And that is why I am calling for the immediate passage of the Mutant Registration Act. It will make our country a safer place for your families and mine.
You just heard remarks by Chairman Robert Kelly prior to convening today's Senate subcommittee hearing on mutant activities. Senator Kelly's bill would require mandatory registration of all mutants by the federal government. XNN News has learned that these historic proceedings will include startling revelations about people with advanced genetic powers and stunning footage of the fabled mutants known as the X-Men.
Mutants are very real.
There's not many people that'll understand people like us.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Now, before this committee can answer the question, should the government require mandatory registration of mutants, I feel it necessary to first define the mutant threat currently facing our nation. Now, what is a mutant? Where do they live? And why are they so dangerous? The answer, I'm afraid, is very frightening.
The mutant phenomenon, the genetically enhanced, are the next stage of human evolution.
It's all about change, and we're at that point in history where everything's about to change.
We are now seeing the beginnings of another stage of human evolution. Not a new race of creature to be feared, but rather the opportunity to find advancement within us all.
Inside all of us, we have the genetic potential for change. And in mutants, they have evolved. Where we are all Homo sapien, mutants are Homo superior.
You're not the only one with gifts.
This is a very natural process of evolution, and in time, everyone will develop these special skills.
Mankind has evolved.
Yes, into us.
They've developed a particular individual talent. And because some of their talents are potentially dangerous, the world at large is disenchanted.
There is this strong prejudice, which is in fact based on fear of their powers and fear that their powers will be used against people.
There's not many people that'll understand people like us.
Senator Kelly, I'm afraid I don't understand how man's continued evolution poses a threat to this nation.
Evolution or aberration? I see that the mutant propaganda machine has been operating most effectively.
But, Mr. Chairman, wouldn't it be more enlightened to try to integrate mutants into society
Well, the fact is, Senator Radler, even to implement your, dare I say, naive plan, the essential first step is registration.
The sadder fact is that some people still fail to realize that intolerance of any kind has never been successful in improving the fortunes of mankind.
I know what you are.
I think when anyone is born different, especially born with extraordinary powers, they pose an instantaneous threat.
Look out!
In X-Men, there are three forces at work. One is human beings who fear mutants. The second is the Brotherhood of Mutants. The Brotherhood's agenda is to preserve mutants by any means necessary.
We are the future, Charles, not them. They no longer matter.
The only force equipped with the understanding to oppose the Brotherhood is the X-Men. They are reluctant superheroes sworn to defend a world that hates and fears them.
The whole world out there is full of people that hate and fear you, and you're wasting your time trying to protect them.
Magneto and Professor Xavier are two mutants who were colleagues, but they have parted because their philosophies have become so different as to how they could continue to live in the world.
Don't give up on them. What would you have me do?
Their ideas of the way forward is completely different. Professor Xavier creates the X-Men and the school for good, to try and encourage harmony.
What is this place?
You're in my school for the gifted, for mutants. You'll be safe here from Magneto.
What's a Magneto?
A very powerful mutant who believes that a war is brewing between mutants and the rest of humanity. The school provides a haven where the X-Men can learn to focus and channel their powers in a way which is for the general good.
He helped us realize that we are okay and that it is okay to have these powers, and he helps us use them for the good of mankind.
Magneto says, you're wasting your time, they're going to stab you in the back, and they'll get rid of you at the most convenient and vulnerable moment.
Whatever are you looking for? I'm looking for hope. I will bring you hope, old friend.
Magneto has decided that if they were not the minority, if in fact they were the majority, then they wouldn't be so persecuted.
There is a war coming. You sure you're on the right side?
My character, Wolverine, is firmly stuck right in the middle, and he doesn't know which way to go. He doesn't particularly want to be drawn in any which way. And so for the audience, through Wolverine's eyes, they can see all different points of view.
At least I've chosen a side.
When we return, the senator from Kansas promises to divulge the unique genetic powers possessed by each of the mutants, known as the X-Men.
Now, this is a photo taken by a state police officer in Secaucus, New Jersey. Man in a minor traffic altercation literally melted the car in front of his. Here's a woman from Indiana who can walk through walls. Now, how long would the Pentagon or the White House or our churches or our schools be safe from attack by legions of mutants so empowered?
Senator Kelly, I am most eager to know of any real threat posed to our country, but I also know how my family and thousands of others suffered unjustly from the unfounded hysteria surrounding the Second World War. Before you mention proof, I challenge you now to provide it. Just who are these mutants, and what are their powers?
There are those mutants that have evolved and they're using their powers for good, and there are those that evolved and they're using their powers for bad.
The X-Men. Professor X.
Professor Charles Xavier can read other people's minds and was the leader, teacher, protector of the X-Men.
We're not what you think.
Hold on to something.
Storm.
Her special mutation is that she can control the weather with her mind.
Fight with us.
Wolverine.
Wolverine can heal himself. So if he gets a gash or wound, it just instantly, before your eyes, sort of comes back. He's also got a skeleton, which has been laid with this special metal called adamantium.
When the adamantium was put into his body, they also wiped out his memory so that he wouldn't know who did it to him. And he is continually searching to try to find his life.
It's been almost 15 years, hasn't it? Living from day to day, moving from place to place, with no memory of who or what you are.
Shut up. He's a very dark character. He can heal himself. It doesn't make him necessarily a really nice guy.
Get out.
Where am I supposed to go?
I don't know.
You don't know or you don't care?
Pick one.
Rogue.
Rogue has this power to absorb other people's energy.
Each mutant ability has both a blessing and a curse. Rogue can take anyone's powers from them, but she can never have physical contact with another human being.
The first boy I ever kissed ended up in a coma for 3 weeks. Everything about being a teenager and not feeling like you fit in is just magnified by being a mutant.
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey has telekinetic and telepathic powers. She can move objects with her mind and read people's minds. She's somebody who's still developing her powers. Jean Grey's fiance is Cyclops, and then in comes Wolverine. So there's sort of this thing going on where Cyclops notices somewhat of an attraction between the other two.
Couldn't wait to get my shirt off again, huh?
It causes all sorts of drama.
You want to get out of my way?
Cyclops.
The reason he's called Cyclops is because he lost the power to control these optic blasts that flow from his eyes, so he has to wear a visor with a ruby quartz lens.
Cyclops has this incredible energy that comes from his eyes, but he can never really, look at another human being with his naked eyes without destroying them.
You better close your eyes.
The Brotherhood. Magneto.
Magneto is the master of magnetism. He can attract metals, he can bend metals.
All right, go!
Magneto has helpers against the X-Men. You'll be my only defense.
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth has cat-like agility and superhuman strength, and I wreak havoc on the X-Men. Of course, there's Sabretooth's way of dealing with things, which is just pure violence.
Scream for me. Mystique.
Mystique, who's the shapeshifter, and I'm the martial arts fighter. And I morph into other characters in the movie, and I'm solid blue.
Toad.
Toad is one of Magneto's henchmen from the Brotherhood. He's got the ability to leap and bound and stick on walls. He has a long tongue, and their slime is very toxic as well. If he slimes you with his tongue, it's like suffocating your face, really.
Don't you people ever die! It is clear to me that the emergence of this so-called mutated gene in certain people seems to be part of man's natural growth. How can we be so bold as to suggest regulating what is clearly God's work?
Mutation is not God's work, Senator. It is a genetic defect. However, one should love the mutant, but hate the mutation.
You continue to insist that all mutants are evil when it is clear that there are those out there risking their lives daily to protect us.
I assume you are referring to the insurgent mutant faction, commonly known as the X-Men.
Insurgent is your opinion, Senator. What I want to know is, who is behind the X-Men?
I was a big fan of The Usual Suspects and Apt Pupil, and so I respect him as a filmmaker.
Such a great shot.
Bryan Singer's vision was grounded in terms of story and character, and it is not overly fantastic and not overly comic booky.
I really don't see it as a comic book movie, even though it is. It's based on the X-Men comics. So that's the first genre you would want to put it in. But just because of Bryan Singer's approach, it becomes different.
I always try to remain respectful to the essence of the characters. And since the characters over 38 years have gone through so many different transformations, it's an awful lot to choose from. But at the same time, I tried to tell an original story.
I have made the first move. That is all they know.
The film primarily is set in the very real world, in places like Washington, D.C., Westchester, New York, up in Canada. But it's the not-so-distant future, so part of the conventional world has been altered a little bit.
Where am I? What he has, more than most film directors, is taste.
Cut.
He's somebody who just loves movies and wants to make the best movie possible.
First you're pivoting here, putting all the weight on this arm, and then you're going whoosh to spin like that.
He lives for making movies.
Cut! Bravo!
The subcommittee on mutant activities is taking a short recess. When we reconvene, Chairman Kelly has promised proof that mutants have existed since 1963.
Senator Kelly, there's one thing I don't fully follow. You say these mutants need to register because they walk among us, looking, sounding, acting indistinguishable from normal people. Yet we've all heard reports of them looking quite, spectacularly unlike any normal human being. How is this possible?
I've told you they're tricky and they're dangerous and they're deceitful. Well, right now, I am prepared to show for the first time how mutants are able to alter their normal physical appearance.
Welcome to the future.
We
used the comic books as much as we possibly could, but Brian wanted to lift it a bit out of the two-dimensional realm and make it a real-world situation where these characters may indeed actually exist. I more or less went through each of the characters and designed all the elements that each of the characters needed, whether it be wigs, prosthetics, eyes, hands, claws, knives.
I am transformed into a cat-like look to become Sabretooth. There's several hours in a makeup chair. I've got prosthetics that I go through. I've got a long wig and complete costume, which is all leather, and it turns me into a rather vicious person.
Mystique is a whole different ball of wax. She's essentially nude.
I had to sit through 7 to 8 hours of makeup every day. It was like 2/3 of my body covered in prosthetics, and the rest was all airbrushed. When I first took this on, they told me it would take 10 hours.
6 hours.
10 hours.
The majority of these prosthetics are self-sticking, except for the edges. The fact that we don't have to glue the prosthetics down, we just glue the very, very edges. It's a brand new technology, so it's not something that anybody's ever tested before.
You know those, like, silicone spiders that you throw against the wall and they slowly climb down the wall? That's what they feel like. We were doing night shoots, so it was down in the 30s. As soon as they would yell action, they would drop my coat, but, you know, between takes, they kept me warm with hair dryers up my sleeves. That's how I survived those long nights.
Gentlemen, Senator Fullwood, what is your impression of Senator Kelly's performance so far?
Terry, I feel certain that future generations will come to regard Senator Kelly as a visionary, someone who is largely responsible for the survival of the human race.
Thank you, sir. And Senator Radler, what is your appraisal?
I think at best that he's a dangerously ruthless and insensitive political opportunist and demagogue.
And at worst?
He's read far too many comic books. Who are you people?
The X-Men were created in 1963. I worked with Jack Kirby, and Jack was, to my mind, the best artist you could find to do superhero comics. He drew the characters magnificently, I think, and we were off and running. My biggest problem was, how do they get their superpowers? You know, in every superhero story, you have to mention how the hero or heroine got that way. Well, I couldn't have everybody bitten by radioactive spiders or hit by gamma rays. It suddenly occurred to me, if I could say that people are mutants, I need no further explanation.
I've never seen anything like this before.
I think this was sort of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's way of commenting on prejudice in their own colorful way. Every young person at some point in their life feels different. They feel strange. They feel like they don't belong. And they dream of going to a special place where they could be taken care of and loved for who or whatever they are.
The reason why X-Men is a hit with the fans is because the metaphor works so well. There's something very special about the X-Men that does translate.
It's the #1 comic book in the world. Out of the top 10 comics today in America, 4 of the X-Men universe.
When I found out that Bryan Singer was going to be the director, certainly I cast my vote in favor because he will bring these characters to life. When I heard that Lauren Shuladana was going to be one of the producers, I mean, that just made it a perfect package because she is so good at what she does. It was obvious that they had the right feeling. They understood what made it popular, and I can't wait to see it.
After this short message, Senator Kelly will wrap up his controversial mutant debate. Senator, do you have a moment?
Sure.
We need to get your feedback on today's hearing. Senator, do you think you have the necessary votes for the passage of your bill?
Oh, absolutely. I think the American people saw the enemy today, and it is within us. And if we fail to act, if we fail to do what we know we must, we will be destroyed. And with the support of all genetically pure and patriotic Americans, I can gladly promise you victory over mutants.
It's okay, Daddy. I'm still your little girl.
It's an action movie with heroes who are different.
Some of the greatest action ever been seen on the screen. With locales that are totally amazing.
For the fans that have grown up with the comic book series, they're going to love it because it is faithful to the fans. It really is.
You actually go outside in these things? What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
And those people who are new to the X-Men world are going to be completely shocked and surprised.
Go to this movie and have a really good time watching it and get involved in these characters and then come out of it and really be thinking about things.
It's going to be fun for everybody. These are wonderful characters in an interesting situation, interesting conflict, a great adventure. It'll appeal to people young and old.
The kids will come out going, how cool would it be to have those powers? What's smart about this is that Bryan Singer is also making this for adults.
Such a variety of strange, unusual characters. It's the magic of science fiction and fantasy. Also, I challenge people to count the X's in X-Men. There are X's everywhere.